Although they've lived in Lorain County their entire lives, their parents traveled here many years before. Nui's parents came from Puerto Rico, and David's from California. Nui's father came to work at National Tube, better known as U.S. Steel, and David's parents came to open Templo Bethel.
We met at Templo Bethel. My father was the pastor, and we were young, and at a very young age, of course, we didn't even know each other, didn't even notice each other because we were children there. But as we grew up, we began to notice each other. She noticed me and couldn't keep her eyes.
Me first.
Couldn't keep her eyes off of me. I couldn't even pray because she was always looking at me.
And where I grew up was very interesting because my street was the International Festival. We had every culture, every race. We shared our families, we shared our food, and it was, I feel, part of my journey and where I'm at today. And that is just being able to understand different cultures and share the relationships and friendships that I have established through the years.
Nui's mother was a member of the church. David's father was the pastor. He went to Amherst Marion L. Steele High School, and she went to Clearview High School. Now, their schools were huge rivals, but that seemed to complement who they already were. Religion brought them together, and faith, it keeps them strong.
I saw my mom, amazing woman, and who is a deep mentor of mine in my life. And if I become half the woman she was, then I've accomplished a lot. But my mother somehow miraculously just gave and gave of herself, and we had very little. I mean, we grew up on government food. And so my mother was an amazing cook, and she would cook meals and would just open our house to hospitality. She taught us how to set a table real well. It didn't matter how much we had or we didn't have. And looking back on my life, that was very pivotal for me to learn the spirit of generosity. I say that humbly, but my mother was just such an amazing, generous woman. And I can remember she'd pack us all up, and she would find out that someone was ill or somebody had passed away or something had happened. And there she'd cook, pack up a meal, haul us all to the house. She would have us help them, sometimes cleaning their house. My mother would always come with a gift, and she taught and instilled in us, in her children, that you never come to a house without a gift. You always bless the house that you're in. So even later on in life, my mother, as she was getting older, would stop and buy food. And on 57, there was a group of homeless people that were living under the underpass. And my mother would stop, and I don't know how she did it, but got up there and fed them. And one day I was talking to my mom. I said, "Mom, you can't do that. You're putting yourself at risk. Someone can hurt you, or you can be hurt." And my mother gave me a very stern talk and lecture and said, "As long as there's strength in me, I will always feed the hungry, and God will protect and take care of me." And that was a really pivotal moment in my life. Sorry.
Just as their parents had instilled the importance of service, they can rest assured their children have learned the lesson as well.
So I can't tell you how many times my parents, specifically in this case my mom, have asked me to hop in her car. We go to the grocery store or other stores, and we load up with groceries and supplies and deliver to a home of family in need. Or such as with my father, we have gone into houses where they were literally sleeping on the floor with nothing, furnished entire homes, putting stuff together, working in those homes, often as we're holding back tears.
Nui was the only parent who had to call the parents of where her son was planning to spend his time. Now, who knew that encounter would go on to blossom a beautiful friendship?
Nui and David are a great pair, but Nui would be the one that's the mouthpiece. I think everyone would agree with that. And if you are lucky enough to have Nui work for you or volunteer for you, you have a great advocate. I first became really closely connected with Nui when she went through Leadership Lorain County. And she loved that experience. That was in 2008. From 2008 until this day, you can hardly have a conversation with Nui without her talking about Leadership Lorain County and the wonderful experience and encouraging other people to do the same. There's just no advocate like Nui. And of course, David is standing right by her side.
Their generosity knows no limits. When the Iron Curtain came down in Russia, David served on a mission to provide medication to the people. It's a moment that still touches him today.
When we gave that medicine to the doctors, they cried because they'd never seen anything like that many over-the-counter type medicine was available. And they were just excited beyond belief that they would be able to, pass out things like that to their patients. There was probably a group of 20 or 25 people that went, so each one of us was obligated to take a piece of luggage. So that was a lot of medicine that we took. And that was just a tremendous accomplishment, and then just to be there and just to share music and things, difference of the cultures, that was wonderful.
Their message is to remember that it's not just about you, it's about everyone, and having faith in the truth of things. David and Noelia Nodal, 2020 Leadership Lorain County Excellence in Leadership Honorees.